Welcome to Google Ads Unleashed, the podcast that helps you harness the power of Google Ads to increase sales for your online business. In an ever-changing Google Ads landscape, we uncover the latest strategies, techniques, and best practices for creating effective ad campaigns that deliver real results. And now your host, Jeremy Young.
Hello guys, and welcome back to Google Ads Unleashed. So, in this episode, I want to talk about something that I get asked quite a bit. And as you can probably sort of take from the title of this episode, it's the following question. And that is, Jeremy, I have a brand. I want to start with Google Ads. What sort of campaigns should I run for my brand? And the idea of this episode is to sort of give you a bit of an overview of the value of different campaign types to your overall e-commerce strategy, your overall Google Ads strategy, and to give you sort of an easy sort of manual to get started on this. And before that, I want to first explain sort of the core concept of sort of the value of different campaigns and what to expect when you actually get started. And I always talk about the e-commerce triangle in Google Ads, or the famous Google Ads triangle, I call it. And you can think of it, or pyramid, and you can think of it like a pyramid. It has a very, very strong foundation, and it thins out at the top, and you have various campaign types which form the base of your pyramid, of your triangle, and then you can supplement it, and a bit like Lego, you can build on top of it with little building blocks. However, it'll thin towards the top because a lot of campaign types, for e-commerce at least, are not very geared towards selling, and I'll get to in a bit why that is. But probably it's now best if I just simply start with explaining what the pyramid entails and what you can find at the bottom. So something that I recommend to any e-commerce brand starting out is to start with a branded search campaign. This is a simple search campaign with one ad group which contains your branded keyword as an exact and a phrase match. And why is that so important? Because an objection I get very often is, Jezza, I got plenty of clicks on my organic search results. They don't cost anything. Why should I pay for clicks? Well, there's a lot of advantages. Some of the sort of softer advantages are, for instance, you can fend off competitors, or you can sort of control the messaging of your Google search campaign. Let's say you got a sale on, right? You can just make a nice little campaign and a nice little ad for people searching for your brand during your sale time. But the absolute single most important thing, which is the role of the brand search campaign, is to train your algorithm, right? Google lives off the information that you feed it. And imagine this now, if you have a bunch of users who know who you are, who specifically look for your brand on Google, they are very, very likely to convert. And if you ever run a brand search campaign, you know these are the campaigns with the highest click-through rate, with the cheapest click cost, with the best conversion rate, with the highest number of conversions. And you are literally feeding the algorithm with gold. So that's why you should always have a brand search campaign running. Even if you're unknown at the beginning, it'll also give you a bit of a barometer of how well known your brand is. So you'll see how many impressions your brand generates. And over time, you will be able to you will see that it generates a lot of conversions and fuels the base of the pyramid, right? So this is something I would start with, and then the next campaign type that you should run is definitely a performance max campaign or a shopping campaign. I say shopping because that used to be the basis for everything, well, as shopping as a channel in Google many years ago, and now of course that developed into smart shopping, and nowadays it's performance max campaigns. And why does that form the next part of your big marketing mix and forms the bottom? Well, the answer to that is relatively easy, because shopping, and that is the little search results at the side with a price and the image of your product, is a perfect ad format which has been created and which has been designed in order to just make the most money, right? Because something that Google realized when only search was around, and actually I was already doing Google ads when only that was about, is that search is not very good in what the answers people are looking for when they're looking to buy something. When people are looking to buy something, they want to see they want to see an image, right? They want to see, is what I'm clicking on the product, is that what I'm actually looking for? They want to look for the title of the product, right? They want to know, is what I'm buying actually on the page, right? You don't see this with a search ad. You may be having words or to describe the product that you're trying to sell, but as they say, pictures, what's the saying, a word is a picture speaks 1,000 words. I think that's the one. So you also want to see the price, right? Like if you are rich, then you can obviously afford something more. If you're not, you may click on a search ad and then see, oh my God, this is way out of my price league or anything. So all of these little elements of a shopping ad actually qualify the user much, much, much better. It also sends them directly to the product page, right? So there's not another step in the funnel. They don't have to click on a collection page or on a home page and then actually find the product that they want to buy and then actually end up buying. They get sent straight to the product page where they can straight buy, which is why that ad format is a million times better at generating conversions and sales for your brand. And you will also see this in the data, right? So if you are already running a lot of ads, then you will see that most of your sales are probably coming through through Performance Max or through shopping at the moment. And these are also your more profitable sales. So these are the sort of two core campaigns I would focus on at the start. I would then also be looking at how you actually set up your campaign. So you obviously have one branded search, but you may say, Jeremy, I sell two product categories, right? I'm in the print on demand business, for instance, and I sell posters, I sell t-shirts, I sell, let's say, shoes as well. So posters, t-shirts and shoes. If you chuck all of these into just one Performance Max campaign, the problem that you'll have is all of these things will convert differently. You may have different margins on all of these different products. You may have different search volume for all of these different products. But if you chuck them all into one campaign, all of these products will compete for the impressions, they will compete for the clicks, they will produce different results, right? Let's say you need 200% margin on posters, but you need a 500% return on ad spend on your shoes. Then how do you set the return on ad spend goal for the campaign? Obviously, there's a bit of a tension, right, between those two different goals. So what you want to do is to set up one Performance Max campaign per ROAS target of your brand. And with ROAS target, I mean sometimes it's as easy as different product categories have different margins, but sometimes it also means that you may have a range of different margins across all different product ranges. And then you may have to divide your 500 products into, let's say, 3 bulks, right? All products which need at least 400%. All products which need at least 200%, all products which need 700%, whatever, and bundle them together. So this is kind of the setup that I would recommend at the beginning. Something that you can set up straight away as well is a shopping remarketing campaign. So over time, when you generate a lot of traffic, a lot of people sometimes forget about your brand, right? So they will have visited you and they may be on a remarketing list floating around somewhere. And something that you may want to do then is to set up a shopping remarketing. And how this works is that you very highly, first of all, you set up normal shopping remarketing, add all the audiences you want to retarget to, and then set this campaign on targeting with very high manual bid. Basically, the rationale of this is, let's say someone has been on your page half a year ago, or maybe not that long ago, totally forgot about you, and then they add into Google a keyword such as Mother's Day gift, yeah, then what the shopping remarketing campaign will do is actually boost the result much, much higher for this user, because they're A, familiar with the brand and are on your remarketing list, and B, they're more likely to recognize your brand, click on it, and convert. So these are sort of the 3 campaign types that I would recommend to any beginner, and which I would start with. And once they actually perform, then you can start improving upon them, right? And sort of try to, for instance, write better ads, try to cut away products which don't perform. You can build more performance maxes as you generate a bigger product range, for instance. You can also start spending more once they actually generate results. And that is then when all of the other campaign types in. So at this stage, we are now at the middle of the pyramid, right? So you've already generated the vast number of conversions and sales for your brand, but now you want to add a little bit on top. And the next campaign type that I would highly recommend to you then would be to trial search. The issue with search is as follows, as I've already laid out. They don't really very well qualify the user to send them, let's say, for instance, to straight to a product page, or they don't give very good information about the quality of the product, how it looks like, etc. They are not very, very well geared towards sales. So what I would recommend, if you'd start then with search, is to only start if you have a lot of volume, like I said already, because then all of your other campaigns start working better if you have a lot of conversion volume, if you have uploaded customer lists to your account, if you've done all these fantastic things before. But to also add as much effort into your search campaigns as possible, because you have to overcome all of these issues that search has, usually more expensive click prices, doesn't qualify the user, so lower conversion rate, etc., etc. So you have to add as many ad assets as possible, price extensions, you have to add maybe promotions, image extensions, all of these different things that make the ad more relevant and more specific to the user query. You may also want to think about actually writing a lot more ads and making very, very specific ads for very specific search terms. Let's say, for instance, you sell trousers and there's a very specific search term for a very specific feature of your trousers. Like one of your trousers, let's say something like trousers where which can turn into shorts or something like that, or trousers which are for a specific pattern or something like that. You may want to make little ad groups that then sends people directly to a landing page with trousers about this patterns. It's all about maximizing relevance, right? This is kind of what I want to get to. And you may have to try around a little bit with search. It's not easy nut to crack, but it's something that if you're clever, then you can sort of add that to your portfolio as well. And it doesn't work for every brand, so don't feel bad if it doesn't work. A lot of our clients are literally running on more or less PMax only. And and that's okay, right? Like we have to know what the role of Google is and accept that there's not unlimited scale in this channel. Then something you want to be looking at this stage as well is a so-called DSA campaign. So very, very dumbly boiled down, a dynamic search ad campaign is a campaign type which basically scans your entire web page, and it creates search ads very, very specifically tailored to very specific long tail searches or specific searches if, for instance, the word is on that page. Let's say a good example would be you are a manufacturer of grass seeds, and you have an and you have, for instance, an advertorial, or let's say a blog post about how to fertilize your lawn properly, right? So if someone would then search for something like how to fertilize your lawn, naturally your PMax search result, your shopping result would pop up if you have a well set up PMax campaign. But what could also happen for a DSA campaign, it could scan your blog post or your advertorial about how to fertilize a lawn, and then actually generate a dynamic search ad that is specific to this keyword. And these types of search ads can work really, really well, because they might even give you new keyword ideas you haven't even thought about. They could also, for instance, just send people very specifically to searches which you can't even cover with keywords. So there's lots of advantages to them. They might also send people to very sort of top funnel topics within your website, like blog posts, etc., which are ideal to introduce people to your brand as well. So this is something that I would test. If you've mastered this discipline now, we're already sort of starting to reach the top of the pyramid. Something I want to say at this stage is that although the top of the pyramid is where the sales sort of become very narrow and thin, your reach increases, right? So you actually start generating a lot of impressions, and this is the territory where if you've mastered all the previous ones, where you want to maybe consider running brand awareness ads, yes, or purchase consideration ads. And for that, we have specific other campaign types, such as YouTube, for instance, or you could run YouTube video ads, or you could run, for instance, discovery ads, or you could run, for instance, Gmail or display ads. But all of these ad formats are not very much geared to start, if you want to start with Google Ads for your brand. And the reason, again, is because they're not geared for conversion. They're not geared towards the sale. Unlike on Facebook, where very often you go in there to discover brands, to discover products. The issue with, for instance, display or YouTube is that they're nuisance, right? Ads are nuisances, unfortunately, on these networks. They distract you from looking up a translation or reading a blog post somewhere, or they distract you from that YouTube video that you really want to watch. Also, the entry requirements are very, very difficult. For instance, YouTube needs super high quality videos. It needs a YouTube friendly offer. It needs super specific barriers, which are mega difficult and expensive to start off with. And also, they don't really also generate sales, right? Because the transition from seeing a YouTube ad and deciding to skip the video that you actually want to watch to then click on something and then decide to buy something that you may not even need or want in this moment because you're not actively looking for it, is very difficult to do. So, which is why I always say start with brand search, start with Performance Max, start with the shop and remarketing, and then start venturing into search. And if you can make that work and scale all of these different channels, then you can sort of start looking at display, start looking into discovery and YouTube. These are obviously topics which I will cover in more detail at a later stage as well. But at the beginning, this should serve you as a real good guideline to get started. And if you need any help or if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Feel free to just send a message, send me an email, and get in touch. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you for listening to Google Ads Unleashed. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. If you found value in today's podcast, please share it with others and leave a rating and a review. For more information or to connect with Jeremy, check him out online at www.younganddigital.marketing. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.